I gotta try not to like bounce because my tripod is a mug. Hi, my name's Gemma and this is my very first video. So I don't really have an idea of where this channel is gonna go, but I mean, I just love books so much and the booktube community just seems like really welcoming. So I thought, why the heck not? I've wanted to make a channel for so long. So here's me finally doing it. So I decided to start with a book haul instead of like an introduction video because firstly, I'm absolutely terrible at introductions, and secondly, I just feel like you'll get to know me more through the books that I'm buying. That's the plan. So the first little pile is books that I have to buy for school, and I don't know if this is interesting or not to anybody. I mean, it's not interesting to me. The first book is The Go-Between by L.P. Hartley, and this is such a cute little edition. It's the pocket library or collector's library, my bad. And it's like got gold trimming and it's so cute. This is centered in 1950, and back in those days obviously there was no social media, so lovers and their partners would send messages via someone called a go-between. So I believe this book is just about a go-between and his life, I think. I started reading it. I'm 20 pages in. I should have finished it already, but I didn't want to. The next one is one that I'm actually so pumped for, and it's Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. That is so not right. I am so sorry. The reason I am actually really pumped for this is because there's a little review snippet from Nelson Mandela, and it says, "The writer in whose company the prison walls fell down." And so I'm like, cool beans. So from what I can gather, I don't know a whole lot about this. I've heard that you should just kind of get into it. But it's about a man called something, and he is a tribe leader of a West African tribe, and I believe it just details his life, dealing with his aggressive nature and his violence and his dangerous pride, according to the blurb. So I am really excited. This looks like it's going to be really, really good. Can't wait. The next one I've already read, and I don't know if I should do a review about it or not on this channel because it was so bad and I already had to review it for school. But it's The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid, and I hated this book. It wasn't even like 1 star for me. I found nothing redeeming about this book. I found some lines and some paragraphs borderline anti-American, and I couldn't get into this. I found Erica to be so annoying, like so annoying. So it was whatever. The next one is The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I have absolutely no idea what this is about. I know it's one of his more popular plays, and according to the blurb, it's set in the Salem witch hunt of 1692, which is an area of history which I absolutely love. I think it's so, so interesting, so tragic as well. So I can't wait to get into this. I have no idea what it's about. Cool. Another one that I have no idea what it's about, like literally, but I know everybody loves it. It's The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Now, I feel like everybody knows of this book, but I just don't know what it is. From what I can gather, it's about a poor girl who lives in New York, and she gets a scholarship and she's plunged into a life of wealth that she didn't ever dream of. So I don't know if that's even close, but So my camera just totally ran out of storage and it's like my first video, so I mean, off to a great start. The next book I am so excited about for like a bit of a different reason, but it's Foreign Soil by Maxine Beneba Clark. And the reason I'm excited is because the author lives really, really close to me. Like, I'm talking a couple of suburbs over. So that is so just mind-blowing to me. It's a short story collection of the like dredges of society. There's a refugee, there's a single mum, there's a boy in a detention centre, there's a schoolgirl. So it's very much a mishmash of characters living in the Sydney western suburbs. And the last one I had to buy for school is The Tempest by William Shakespeare, and I know this is the ugliest edition ever. It's the Oxford School Shakespeare edition, but the reason I like these for school, not for personal reading, but for school, is that it gives you a lot of like background information, it gives you a lot of history. It's got some great notes, it's got some direct translations, and I don't care if I scribble all over these. So, like, it's just ideal, basically. Again, no idea what this is about. But I can tell you that my favourite Shakespeare play is Taming of the Shrew. It's not really a play, is it? Is it? I don't even know my own favourite book. Also, I'm like putting my books on my bookshelf because I don't feel like squatting. Oh, I just cracked my foot. I don't feel like squatting to put them on the floor. So if you see me like doing this, it's because like I'm putting the books down there. So the next little pile is from a local bookstore, and I love this bookstore so much. I love shopping independent, and I mean it's kind of more expensive, but I try to do it whenever I have a little bit of cash to splash. So the first one is Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and I'm so excited for this. I absolutely adore the Lunar Chronicles. I'm not sure if you can see, they're right here. But I absolutely adore that series by her. And I haven't finished the last one, Winter, yet because it's an absolute mammoth. But I will finish it before I start her new series because I'm trying to get better at finishing series before I open up new ones. It's a bit of an issue for me. But this follows a girl called Kath in an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and she is set up in an arranged marriage, and I don't really think she wants a bar of that. She's not really pumped for that whole idea, so I'm guessing she just chooses her own destiny. That's pretty cool. That's very cool. The next two are copies from Vintage Classics, and it's two Hemingway novels. It's For Whom the Bell Tolls and The Old Man in the Sea. I love these copies. I also love this one because it's super floppy. At the end of last year, I read A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. You can't see it, it's right here. But I absolutely adored it, and I thought I would appreciate reading more Hemingway, and I'm trying to broaden my horizons in reading as well. I generally stick to young adult fiction, young adult fantasy, that's about it. But I'm trying to get more into classics. I'm also getting a bit more into true crime, which I find really interesting. But yeah, this is about an old man and the sea, and this is about someone for whom the bell tolls. So keeping on the theme of Hemingway, where did it go? Oh, I found it. It's like tiny. So I bought a little order from the Book Depository because I love the Book Depository. I'm not affiliated with them. I've just bought from them since I was like 10 and I'm 16 now, so that's a few years. So whenever I shop books, I tend to go to Book Depository first. So I got a little pile from them, and I'm super stoked for all of these. So the first one, keeping on the theme of Hemingway, as I think I already said, is A Farewell to Arms. I've had my eye on this for the longest time because I feel like it's just something I'm interested in. It's Hemingway's depiction of war, and because he obviously went to war, and Hemingway is such a blunt writer. Like, he tells things very just black and white. There's no frilly grey areas with Hemingway, so I feel like I'd be really interested to see his take on the war and see how he writes the war when there's like no reservations about the brutality of it. Yeah. So next one I've started reading, and I'll get more into my brief thoughts about it, but it's Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Ratch. I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, I'm sorry. But basically this is a dystopian world in which the kingdom, oh, it's not dystopian, my bad, it's a fantasy world where the kingdom is separated into seasons, and winter, the kingdom of winter, or the district of winter, or whatever it is has been enslaved by spring. So that idea really drew me in because I love winter. Like, I'm wearing winter clothes and I live in Australia, so it's like summer right now. I'm in denial. But I like the idea of the seemingly joyous and beautiful and loving spring enslaving the cold, harsh winter. Like, I thought that idea was so unique. So I'm 90 pages in. I'm up to chapter 8. And so far, I'm not that intrigued by it. I actually picked up a different book to read, which I'll get in a second. But I don't know. I find the relationship between Myra and Magda really annoying. I don't know why. I don't really like it. The next one is Unsold by Neil Shusterman. I cannot explain how pumped I am. So basically this is the third book in the Unwind series by Neil Shusterman, and I read Unwind and Unholy back when I was like 12, so that's 4 years ago. And back in those days I didn't have a card, I didn't have a lot of money, I didn't have access to just go up to a store and buy the book. So like, I read Unwind and I read Unholy and I never read Unsold. I never bought it, I never got to it. Flash forward to, I think it was either November or December of 2016, I just picked up Unwind. I was in the worst reading slump. 2016 was a really bad reading year for me. So I was just in the biggest rush and I picked up Unwind because I knew I would love it. I fell in love with the series again. I read Unholy this month. And so now I've got Unsold. So I won't tell you what this is about. I don't want to ruin anything. But Unwind focuses on a world where it's set after the Heartland War has been fought, and the armies in those wars were pro-life and pro-choice, which I think is extremely relevant today. And if you want a bit of like a mind-blown moment, I really do recommend reading this if you're interested in that side of politics. Basically, it centers around a society now taking place after that war where you cannot abort a child when it's a fetus, but you can retroactively abort them from the ages of 13 to 17 by the process of unwinding, in which all of their like parts, all of their body parts, their brain, everything is taken apart and given to other people. So it's like organ donors, but to the next level. It's so good. The characters are so beautifully written. I love Connor. I love him with all my heart. I wish he was real. He was like my first OG crush. Like, I loved Connor so much. So yeah, I really do recommend that. I have mascara in my eye, which is why I keep poking it, but I recommend that series so much. Neil Shusterman is so talented. I really want his new book, Scythe, but I've yet to see it anywhere. So the next one is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. And basically when I shop Book Depository, I have a cap. So I don't let myself go over like 5 books or 10 books. This just helps me save money, and although I've bought a ridiculous amount of books this month, I do have limits. I had 4 books in my basket. I'll speak about the 4th one in a second. But I was deciding between this one and a different book that I can't remember. So obviously I made the right choice. But I couldn't decide. So anyway, Reagan from Peruse Project uploaded a wrap-up, I think, or something, maybe a book haul, I'm not 100% sure, but she uploaded a video in which she referenced this bad boy, and she sold it. Like, she made this seem like this is the book that I have to read, and I do have to admit, it sounds really, really good, and I think her description was better than the blurb. This is about a kingdom in which a queen, every time there's a queen, she will give birth to triplets. Those triplets are separated at birth and sent into 3 different districts of the kingdom. I'm not quite sure what they're called. I haven't read the book yet. So those triplet queens are raised by these districts that all have their own certain powers. So I think there's like the power of fire or like something. I'm not 100% sure. But they're raised, and then at a certain age the triplet queens are pitted against each other and basically fight to the death for the role of queen. So I think that is so interesting, and Reagan so sold it. So I'm so excited, and this cover art is so beautiful. And I think I got the last one off Book Depository because I bought this and then it went from add to basket to notify me, so I'm so ecstatic that I got this. And the last one from that little 5-book depository order is Milk and Honey. I was going to say Milk Like Honey. Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But this is kind of a cult favourite online. I see it all the time on Tumblr and Instagram. And you know what? I just decided to bite the bullet. It's a poetry book with beautiful little illustrations. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're gorgeous. And it just kind of details her life in abuse and her adult life and hating herself, learning to love herself. So I can't wait until I'm in the perfect mood. Like, it might be rainy outside, I might have like a cup of tea, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna read this. Stay. I also bought this book from Book Depository, but not in the same order. It was a really sporadic buy, and I don't regret it whatsoever. I'm currently reading it, but it's The Iceman: Confessions of a Mafia Contract Killer by Philip Carlo. Now, I don't venture into non-fiction very often. It's not something that interests me, but crime really interests me, especially the mafia. So I was watching like a Watch Mojo top 10 like mafia crimes or something, and there was a little segment about Richard Kuklinski, and I was like, he sounds mental. So I just did a quick Google search of the #1 book to buy if you want to read about Richard Kuklinski. This was the winner by far. I quickly ordered it, and holy moly, it is incredible. Philip Carlo writes non-fiction, but it reads like fiction. It is so interesting. Kuklinski's life is so demented and warped, but so interesting. And like, it kind of makes me want to be a crime writer. My dream is to be a writer, and I've like written a couple of things which I might share on this channel. Maybe that's something that would happen. I don't know if that's something that anyone's interested in, but I've never thought that I would want to write a crime novel, but this has made me want to write crime. And seriously, even if you don't like non-fiction, just read this. I 100% promise you it is worthwhile. Oh, I didn't even talk what it was about. I was just like, read it. Doesn't matter what it's about. Basically, it follows the life of Richard Kuklinski from birth to incarceration, and he was obviously a mafia contract killer, but because he was Polish, he couldn't be inducted into any of the Italian families. So he carried out assassinations for all 7 of the East Coast crime families, and he is very demented. He got given the nickname Iceman because he used to freeze bodies, and then 2 years later, like, he was very methodical. 2 years later, he'd deposit them on the sidewalk, which would make determining the body's time of death. So my camera just died, like, literally. My first video is such a mess, and if that's not the most like fitting thing, I don't know what is. I was staying with my dad for a little bit, and I was just with his family, and we were just sitting around the table and talking about what books we love. I mean, they're not like massively into books, but there are like genres that they really love, so we were just talking about certain books that we like. And they were so kind as to gift me a couple, which I thought was so nice. So the first 2 I got from my dad. The first one was The Last Nomads by W.J. Peaslee and Behind the Gates of Camorra by Stephen Seeger. And Basically, I don't know a lot about these books. Last Nomads is one of my dad's favourite books. It's about the last nomads. It's about the 2 last Indigenous people who lived like my ancestors, because my dad's family is Indigenous. So I feel like this will help me connect to a part of my heritage that I don't often think about. So I'm pumped. I think I've said that like 4 million times during this video. It's fine. I'm just pumped about life. I'm pumped about these books. It's a good time. And the last one, as I said, was Behind the Gates of Gomorrah. And Gomorrah, I think I said Gomorrah. It's Gomorrah. Gomorrah is the colloquial term for the California Napa State Hospital. And Steven Seagar is a psychiatrist who goes in, and I believe he just writes about what he experienced, which sounds really interesting and very thrilling in a subtle way. And the last one I got from my family was one from my dad's girlfriend's sister. And it Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, I'm not a massive fan of contemporary. It's just not a genre that I connect with. Might be my age, I don't know. I just can't really get into contemporary, but she loves this book, and Colleen Hoover is a massive rap on BookTube, so you know what, I'll take the plunge. It sounds, I have no idea what this is about either. It's about a girl called Lily. She's graduated from college. She's moved to Boston, started her own business. She's met this guy called Ryle. But then her ex-guy Corrigan comes in. Sounds dramatic. I'm here for it. The next 2 I bought from an Australian bookstore called Dimmicks. I don't think it's anywhere else besides Australia. It could be. I could be so wrong. But the first one is Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the trilogy of 4. Now, funny story about this. I went in there not wanting to get Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I saw it and I was like, you know what, I've never read it.
What are you doing?
I'm doing my video thingy.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right.
I didn't hear you, so I was like...
Good times. As I was saying, I was just going to buy like the first one, which was $22, but then I saw that there was a bind up of all 4 for $25. I was like, obviously I'm going to get this one. I never wanted all 4, but now I have all 4, and this cover is so cool, and I can't stop looking at it. It's amazing. Oh, another Marissa Meyer book. Forgot I actually got this. I'm pumped now. This is Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, and this is a novella bind-up of the Lunar Chronicles series. It just follows a couple of characters and stories that we didn't get fully explained in the book, books are. So I'm very, very excited to dig into this. And I've never seen a physical copy in bookstores. Like, I've always seen it online. I'm like, oh, I should buy that one day. Never got around to it. Now I have. The next one is one that I found at Target for $13, and I flew. Like, I literally jumped. When I was buying Stars Above and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I actually considered buying this too, but for some reason I put it down. Now I know the reason. It's Patrick Rothfuss' The Name of the Wind, and this is a favourite on BookTube. I see it a lot. I have no idea what it's about. My name is Quoth. Quoth. You may have heard of me. I have now, Quoth. I'm hoping it's good. In a different Target adventure, but still at Target. I love Target. You'll find me at Target 90% of the time. But I found 3 books which I'm absolutely stoked about. The first one is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a really ugly cover, but you know what? It's chill. This is about a girl called Karu who... Karu? Yeah. I think that's right, Karu. But it's about a 16-year-old girl called Karu, and she divides her time in the human, living earth, and a place called the Elsewhere, where demons and monsters and things like that roam free. But she has to choose between them, I'm guessing, and learn about who she is, which is fantastic. All about that life. And then lastly are 2 books that I already own, but... you know what, I couldn't pass these up when J.K. Rowling released the new editions of Tales of Beedle the Bard and Quidditch Through the Ages. Look at these. Like, are these not so stunning? These are new covers, they've got new illustrations, and they were only $10 at Target. But yeah, I mean, self-explanatory. I love Harry Potter. So the first thing you should know, I should have just opened this video with like, hi, my name's Gemma. I love Harry Potter. That's about it. So anyway, that completely wraps up all the books that I got. I got 25 books this month. I estimate that I spent around $270, which is... So that wraps up my very first video. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous. Staring into a camera is really daunting, but I'm glad that I did it and hopefully you enjoyed it. I know this video was super duper long. I bought a crap ton of books, but I really hope you come back for next time, and if you do, see you next time. Bye guys!